All right, sorry for the delay. Camera kind of cut off on us, and I told you, we're working on a budget here. But back to that NBA action. So how the West was won, I think, Dart, you were talking about the Memphis Grizzlies, talking about Zach Randolph and Marc Gasol, if I'm not mistaken.
We're talking about outside to inside. They have a complete game where any shot from anywhere can be taken by anyone on their team. Doesn't matter. Even Zach Randolph, and I've seen Marc Gasol shoot a three and make it this season. So you really got to be careful with your personnel.
He's better than his brother right now.
You got to be careful with the personnel that you have on the floor, because if you decide to leave somebody open, they'll make you pay for it. But James Harden shooting the Rockets in the third place. Let's talk about the Splash Brothers shooting their team in the first place. That entire team is stacked when it comes to lighting up the floor on the offensive end.
Huge Mark Jackson fan. Was devastated when they got rid of him. That was a front office decision. It really hurt the team's morale. Steve Kerr, you've done a great job. Honestly, I didn't want to like you as a coach at the beginning of the year just because I was biased and partial towards Mark Jackson. But you've done a great job. You took Andre Iguodala, asked him to come off the bench, put Draymond Green in the starting lineup along with Harrison Barnes. I think that was a great decision because Draymond Green is now Defensive Player of the Year, almost averaging a triple-double, doing numbers for my fantasy team. Thank you on that note itself. And actually, he's going to receive a big payday coming soon. So I appreciate that, Steve Kerr. And I think that the Golden State Warriors have shot themselves into first and will stay in first in the West going into the playoffs. Do they want to stay in first? I really don't know. They're probably going to meet up with OKC in the 8th spot. It's going to be scary, but it's going to be a great thing to watch because the Western Conference playoffs are going to be amazing.
And while they are number one in the West, surprisingly enough, not too far record-wise behind them is the Atlanta Hawks.
We ain't even talking about the East. You know why? Because it's the Eastern Conference. But we're going to talk about the Atlanta Hawks. Trust me. He just got ahead of himself just a little bit. But listen, with the Portland Trail Blazers, Wesley Matthews went down. You might win a round, but you won't win two. OKC, I think they have the team to do it, adding Enes Kanter and DJ Augustine, and along with Dion Waiters as well off the bench. I'm not so sure they do it. I really like the Memphis Grizzlies, like you said, to win the West. I like San Antonio still. You can't count them out in the playoffs especially. And honestly, I'm beginning to be sold more and more on the Houston Rockets daily when Dwight Howard comes back. And I hope Dwight Howard knows that he should get in where he fits in. That means don't call for it on that low block anymore, big fella. You know what? Just get garbage buckets, block shots, play defense, and get in where you fit in, because it is now and it has always been the James Harden show with Terrence Jones in an extra edition, Patrick Beverley, Trevor Ariza, and it's their show. So please, get in where you fit in, big man, or you can find yourself on the way out as well. I don't think they get rid of you or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying don't slow down the offense of James Harden.
Whoever the 8th seed is in the West will be an upset team, in my opinion. I don't see them clear at all going to the finals, whether it be conference or NBA finals. But if it's the New Orleans Pelicans or the Oklahoma City Thunder, one of those two teams, if they're the 8th seed, are an upset team. Clearly the Thunder being more of an upset team than the Pelicans. However, they're both capable of it.
I don't trust the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm sorry, Anthony Davis needs more help than just Tyreek Evans. So with that being said, yeah, you won't even make the playoffs. I think OKC still steps in because if I'm not mistaken, and if I'm still corrected looking up at the internet and looking up actual sources, Kevin Durant actually comes back this week. Actually comes back, I think, this upcoming week if I'm not mistaken. So, how the West was won. Dallas, I used to think you had a chance. You moved the ball very well, but when Rajon Rondo stepped in, it kind of slowed down. He's never really been good at defense. I was corrected earlier this year. He's been great up until this year. He doesn't really play it. And will he be with Rick Carlisle and the Dallas Mavericks after this year? I don't think so. They don't really get along. That's not a match made in heaven. And Rondo wants to do things Rondo's way. So how the West was won, our picks probably, Memphis Grizzlies, San Antonio Spurs, maybe the Golden State Warriors have a fighter's chance as long as their jumpers are going in because they're a jump shooting team with rim protection but no post play other than their guards. So with that being said, I think we both are agreeing on going Memphis Grizzlies coming out of the West. Now, on to the Eastern Conference. The Atlanta Hawks. Are you guys for real? Are you guys serious? Do we believe in you? They've called you the Spurs of the East, which I seriously don't believe just because of how deep you are, because of Budenholzer is your coach. I don't believe that you guys can actually win against the Cleveland Cavs. Let alone do I believe you can win against the Chicago Bulls when they get Jimmy Butler and Derrick Rose back come the playoff time. I'm still not going to rule out that the Bulls won't be there against the Cavs, but they'll be beat up because they still will play great defense come the playoffs because Tom Thibodeau will have his team right. But if you are for real, find a way to grab rebounds other than your two power forwards that are very small, 6'8" and 6'9", and Paul Millsap and Al Horford. I watched you get destroyed by the Detroit Pistons with Greg Monroe and Andre Drummond. I watched you guys get shut down on defense. Get shut down on offense because, you have 4 players you go to score, but not really one go-to scorer. Can Jeff Teague score? Yeah, he can get to the rack when he wants. But when the playoffs comes, everything slows down, everything gets packed in, and shots get tougher to get offense. So I don't think you guys are for real. I think you guys might make it to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cavs, but I think you're going to lose. That's just my opinion.
For now, if we were to say that numbers did not lie, stats, not impressive. Record, very impressive.
Very impressive.
However, that means
Especially
absolutely nothing when the playoffs start.
Means absolutely nothing. You're talking to 2 guys who have watched basketball and especially the NBA all their lives. If that's not enough experience for you, you're talking to 2 guys who've actually played basketball up until now, played earlier today if you want to get technical, played college ball and did a couple things as well. So our experience is already there. But we haven't played NBA, so I couldn't give you that experience. But enough college ball, though. But with that being said, I don't believe in you Cavs. You're going to have to show me come playoff time. Oh, excuse me. Don't believe in the Cavs either, though. But, Hawks, you're going to have to show me come playoff time because I believe more in the Cavs after beating the San Antonio Spurs and after Kyrie Irving put up about 57 points and LeBron put up 30 while J.R. Smith and everyone just watched them put on a show. And when you have 2 of the best basketball players on the planet that can score whenever they want, that's a problem. Trust me. And Atlanta Hawks, you don't have that.
One of the most disrespectful things I'll say all night, top 3 in the East in my opinion, regardless of record, is the Raptors, the Wizards, and the Cavaliers. I'm sorry.
You guys suck.
I am sorry, Atlanta. But we're going off not only history, but we're going off what we see. And that's just numbers on paper. When it comes down to playoff time, we'll see if you're the real deal or not. Until then, you are going to be asterisk like half the sports stats in today's steroid era.
Yeah. Toronto Raptors, you're too inconsistent. Your front court, terrible. Toughest guy on your team's a point guard, and we all know that doesn't work. What else? Washington Wizards. Man, you're inconsistent, and you're going to need Bradley Beal to actually not be hurt to make it in the playoffs. And if Paul Pierce can give you the slightest ounce because he's ready to play at the YMCA right now with his game. He's ready to stay there for life. His game is built for the YMCA with that footwork and that old man game. But with that being said, Cavs, you have the easiest road like the Martinsville Bulldogs around here to get to a championship and actually win it because everybody in the West is going to be beat up so bad and so tired that you're going to have an easy chance. And I like your additions. You have J.R. Smith now running the shooting guard. He's actually playing better than he did in New York. You have Kevin Love, who should accept his role because he's getting, 17 and 10 like you told me earlier.
17
you should accept your role. You're not that great. You were the number 1 option in Minnesota, but you still couldn't win games.
And you were no KG.
You're not a KG. KG actually put them in the Western Conference Finals with Latrell Sprewell, Wally Zerbiak, and Sam Cassell, but really wasn't an all-star on that team. Latrell Sprewell was okay. I'll give you that one if you want to look it up.
Even the Philly 76ers have people that can put up numbers from time to time. That doesn't mean anything.
That doesn't mean anything. And last time I checked, if you were a real, let's say, top 5 player, which they tried to make you, Kevin Love, you'd put your team in the playoffs. Last time I checked, your team's never made the playoffs with you in Minnesota. So accept your role. Let Timothy Mozgov block shots, get a couple garbage buckets. All you have to do is pick and pop and let the King James, who I hate saying, or Kyrie Irving, who's never been in the playoffs, provide you with a chance to get a championship. Am I right or am I wrong?
Let those Heat boys on that Cavs team show you how to do it.
He would say the Heat. He's a true Miami fan. But with that being said, that's going to be the end of our show. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope to keep doing this to you. And hopefully, the next time we do a show, we'll actually have a title. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Chris Draper, Dar Edwards, TBM's finest.
Real all day.